One of our stations is beset by enemies. Spaceport
So I
martyred.
think this is going to be where we bid adieu
Heretic fleet
to the
engaged.
Vish Empire. They were fun, they were fuzzy, and then they got a little mean and
Darkness has
weirdly
claimed one of our
authoritarian.
fleets.
And so what have we learned here? We have learned that you can make a lot of friends, and they're not going to help you at the end. We never really made great friends. We kept trying to join that Federation. What they think, who was it? The Provas and the Babakian Sacrosanct League. But they were never at peace long, and they never quite liked us just enough when they were at peace. So we never ended up joining in. We never really had that much of a military presence, and we never consolidated power any other way. Usually the two ways you get far in Stellaris is to become the head of a major federation or to dominate your section of space. There have definitely been playthroughs where I've been a less kindly civilization, and when the endgame crisis shows up, fought them back myself. Usually those playthroughs, the fallen empires have already been awakened and put back to sleep. It is possible. It requires, a plan, not being quite so beholden to the role-playing guidelines I'd started out with for the Vish Kinah, and also, honestly, even more so than that, a considerable layer of rust. I hadn't played this patch of Stellaris. It had been a few years since I'd had it installed, so I jumped back in with the Azerin, who crashed and burned, as originally was pointed out. And then the Vish Kinah, we did better. Can't deny that. We got much farther. We colonized a good chunk of the galaxy, but we never got into that sort of snowball runaway mode where we were powerful enough to expand our borders by force and take on notable galactic powers and win. And so when the endgame crisis came and the galaxy started or continued fighting amongst themselves, and the fallen empires did nothing, because these Naran Guardians there, sad show. Kobarian arbitrators, you were a little bit smaller than this when we started. You got a tiny bit bigger when you awakened. Still disappointing. You should have taken over a whole bunch of territory. Now, I have seen runs where the fallen empires are of a certain type. These aren't the only two in the mix that you can get assigned to your galaxy. And sometimes two fallen empires wake up and want war. And what they start doing is they start drawing up sides. They'll start beelining for one another's territory, and anyone who is in their way will either be conquered along the way or agree to join them as their subjects. And it's actually kind of cool to join one of the fallen empires in one of these wars if you're not already powerful enough to fight in one of them. And they'll eventually collapse in on themselves because that's just how they're designed to play. But none of that happened in this one. We had two sort of non-interventionist fallen empires that watched the contingency spawn and largely do nothing about it. So with no one strong enough to fight back on their own and none of the fallen empires participating, I don't know if the contingency is necessarily going to win, because it looks like their AI, or the AI of the AI is a little sus, but they've definitely kind of ruined the galaxy. So some Evandarians look okay, the Rihinarans look okay. They'll eventually run into some problems, but I think this is where we say the Vish Kinah gave this a shot, and they were not successful. They put up a good fight, but fanatic spiritualist xenophiles and later fanatic authoritarian spiritualists didn't have what it takes. Even with an immortal psionic demigoddess, prophetess, whatever you want to call her, we just fell a little short. So thank you all for joining us here.